Good evening, gamers, and welcome back to Season 8 of ESL Pro League, as we're live once again from the lovely as ever Intel Esports Arena, ready for a fabulous day of games that is going to be stacked to the brim of beautiful Counter-Strike action. Another man that is beautiful and involved in Counter-Strike is not Snods, it's SEO.
Ah, that's one way of getting him digs,
Yeah,
I suppose.
Beat him while he's down.
Yeah, down in bed, tonsillitis, sad.
Yeah, sad boy.
Yeah, but the games today, what are we thinking? How do you feel about them?
I think it's going to be a pretty good day. I think this actually could be the most exciting one yet, Ben, here in day 3. What are your quick thoughts on that?
Well, I see first game we'll have is, Mouse G2. They look like two solid teams, right? Like, on paper at least. That could be quite a good matchup. Then we got Astralis Space Soldiers late. That's another fantastic one, especially as Space Soldiers.
Yeah. So
far, they look great. And Astralis, current world champions, looks great. And then Heroic Windigo. So, Windigo, they're looking okay so far, beating AGO early on in the week. And Heroic, third in placements too, so it looks like a good set of games. Yeah,
I think it actually will be. But let's show everyone what the results were first to get them back into the mindset. This was yesterday's games from the A stream and the B stream. We'll go over these and just give it more of a breakdown if people did miss those games, Ben.
Yeah, so obviously on the B stream we had Mouse taking Hellraisers first. That was quite a one-sided game. I mean, we were quite worried for Hellraisers looking at that.
It was scary.
13 rounds across 2 maps. Pretty pathetic, really, from what they probably expected to get. And then the second map, or second series rather, against North, they did a lot better, right? That was 4 points from that series against North, who are flying high right now. You can see on the A stream, they did take out AGO cleanly there, 6 points from that. And otherwise, we had that NIP AGO game, which quite a close contended series. We expected NIP to potentially try and recover from their slow start so far this season. And as well as that, we saw Fnatic and Heroic on the A stream. Trading games there, 3 points each. Fnatic probably thinking, that's an okay trade, 3 of 6. We've just got Twist in, for example. They had Scream standing in as well.
Yeah.
And then Big Astralis. Big taking the map off Astralis. Inferno at that as well.
That is a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, Smee put a tweet out asking the AWP gods to give him a blessing versus Device. And although it apparently didn't help him too much, they definitely did pick up the win there, a 16-13. I think that's probably the biggest upset we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the biggest surprise in terms of on paper, right? You just consider how heavily favoured Astralis have been in recent weeks. They won the major so easily. They won Istanbul as well. And Big, you start to think of the major, they were quite one-sided. They only had results really because Smee was playing well.
Yeah.
So despite him having, as you mentioned, it didn't really help him too much personally, they still won that map. So I mean, 3 points against Astralis, you're thinking, great.
The team looked good, and that is what it comes down to. So let's see how all of these names actually affected the overall standings, as things will start to shape up more and more as the days goes by. Obviously, a lot of teams still haven't actually played games yet. G2 and Na'Vi haven't been involved, nor have FaZe, but these are what the table is looking like, Ben. The chevrons are now in place as well. We can see people moving up and down.
Yeah, so the interesting thing for me is, so we've got Space Soldiers and Mouse. We're going to see them both today. Of the teams that played, they're the only ones who are undefeated. So everybody else has actually managed to get a loss on the board. Windigo, arguably, they're the closest ones to not having it due to that overtime loss there against AGO. But otherwise, Space Soldiers potentially looking at their first defeat today. Astralis, it's a big ask. And the same goes with Mouse. I mean, they've got G2. Yeah,
it is going to be a hard day of games, and I think it could be stacked obviously for Mousesports. I think their game should be a little bit more in their favour. Space Soldiers are really going to be having to step up to the mark if they're going to win that one. Let's get into the schedule as well and break it down fully, as these are the games we're covering on the A stream and here on the B stream, Ben.
I suppose if you just look at it like a broad view, it's a great set of games. A stream as well, you've got Astralis FaZe. Fantastic matchup. FaZe then against G2, another great one, and Space Soldiers Mouse. So A-Stream, fantastic games are there. And we've even got some crackers over here too. I mean, Mouse, G2, we mentioned it probably favours Mouse right now.
Yeah.
But G2, you've got to be thinking, they have to perform, right? The pressure is on them. Ocelot, the owner, he's been tweeting a bit saying he's disappointed with the lineup, saying Operation Winning now begins. So the pressure is on them. They've got to be thinking, we need to get results, and fast.
And it's a hard day of games for them as well.
For sure. I mean, FaZe and Mouse, it's arguably, actually technically, they are both top 5 in the world right now in terms of ranking. So you got to be thinking, well, we need to get at least, 6 points out of this if we really want to consider it to be successful. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's a stacked day of games for G2, and it will be interesting to actually see them play. Astralis Space Soldiers is our second game as well. That's one that I've actually, I'm a little bit invested in. I've always been interested in watching Space Soldiers play, and I feel that could actually be quite a juicy game. Obviously, Astralis, much more favoured, but Space Soldiers do have a lot to prove, especially online.
I mean, this is where they kind of show that they were, up to the task, I suppose. If you look at last season, they were 5th seed. I think they were above Astralis in terms of seeding as well. And as you said, online, they need to be showing it, right? Istanbul, they were actually surprisingly okay. They got, I think it was the 2 wins over, I want to say it was VP and Cloud9. And they did show quite well. I mean, Zantares, he had a game where he was 27 kills, I think, at the half, which is outrageous to think about. And he's got to be proving it today as well. Astralis, they've been quite good at negating the star player's power.
Yeah.
Simple's the notable one from the major, and I think the same probably happened today with Zantares too.
Yeah, you've got to imagine. Well, the first game of the day, obviously, G2 versus Mousesports. That is going to be the one we are talking about first of all, as it should be a pretty damn good one. I mean, G2, obviously, you've got the experience there with Big Kev, Big Man Existence himself coming into the roster. But as you said, things haven't been going especially well for them thus far.
Yeah, I mean, at the major, everybody was starting to think, they had a few, I say, months, right? It was about 2 months, maybe 3. To start off with that lineup, and we were thinking, okay, give Existence time, right? They said it was a big project. They had 3 months set for that major, and it wasn't, it wasn't particularly impressive, if I'm honest. It was pretty disappointing. They only fell out technically at the 2-2 stage, which is perfectly fine in terms of you consider. I can't remember who they lost to in best of 3. It might be FaZe actually. So technically, if you think on paper, we lost in best of 3 to FaZe. Not the worst way to exit. It could have been much worse. It could have been your Vegas or something like that. But all in all, the pressure is on them, and they need to get wins.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. Let's see if the odds are stacked against them in terms of Betway, Bens. We do have the odds coming through now. Yeah,
so I mean, that probably shows that Mouse, in recent form, they just won New York, as we mentioned before. And G2, on the other hand, they dropped out in the groups there.
Yeah.
So just complete contrast from recent form, that's obviously going to be favouring them. And as well as that, G2, it's Nuke, right? So G2, they've not actually won yet on Nuke. They've only played the 1 game, so that's fair to say, but Mouse, they look pretty strong in it with this current lineup, so I'm not surprised that the odds are like that.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, obviously for G2, now kind of is sort of the... I mean, it's after the testing period in terms of what we've seen, but there's not been that many games to actually get a good benchmark, right? It's still been a little bit restricted in seeing them personally, how the team is going to work. Individually, we know they can perform, and with Big Kev at the helm, Existence can be someone that adds that extra bit of oomph to a lineup. He's always had such a big playbook. I mean, really sort of the godfather of Counter-Strike in terms of tactical playback from source. He's been so smart and so effective, but it feels like we just haven't seen that in quite a recent time. I mean, Existence sort of had a fall from great. Obviously, we saw the stint on LDLC, where he tried to see what he could get going there, eventually removed from the roster. This was supposed to be that return. Are we going to see any of that coming through?
I mean, where he shines usually is where he gets time to prepare for a matchup, right? And Pro League, that does let you have it. You know the map in advance. As we can see, Nuke, this is typically, if you remember back to CSS, Nuke was a strong French map.
Especially, I mean, you think about the amount of frags he had just in highlight reels of plays. He was a mastermind and an absolute fragger when it came to Nuke, Ben. Existence was a king back then.
Look at this quick ace player. So it's going to be through Hut, Squeaky, and Main.
Robs, that's uncharacteristic of him. Missing the majority of those shots and actually does get overthrown by Existence. And the bloodbath's coming through. Luckily enough, they've got a Kenny S just defending the site as he brutally rips his way through them. Snacks tries to slide through the vent, but instead just belly flops down. Yeah.
So I suppose one good sign there for G2 is that Kenny S started strong.
Yes.
This year he's been pretty... I wouldn't say below average, right, but he hasn't been performing to that same standard I would expect him, right? If we look at 2015, he had like a 1.13 rating. 2016 went down to 1. 2017, 1.14. This year he's under 1. So it's clearly been a down year for him, and he's got to be proving that, try and change the current system, right? And one thing that's quite interesting, we've got those new models as well on this map, don't we?
The Bureau have arrived, the FBI.
And Kenny S, as I mentioned, he needs to prove something, gets his head taken off.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, Existence goes down as well as the outside control comes through. And this is vintage Mousesports as well, Ben. They turn the tempo right around, just going for that explosive style. That outside control was taken in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that instant kill, I mean, doesn't help when Body can't line a shot there either. We're looking at potentially no kills for G2 here. An absolute collapse in the defense.
Yeah, it's falling apart. The structure's not looking too fantastic at all. And it is just down to Smiths and Shocks. A bit of a lethal duo at times, but against 5 men on that side, who are fully armed as well, it's definitely going to be an awkward round. Smiths looks to try his luck here towards Hut, but actually might lose his head.
Does get that shoulder peek, but Chris J wins that fight. I mean, Smith, you got to think he does better with that. He got the drop on him there.
That should have been his frag.
For sure. I mean, Shocks at this point, he just has to live, doesn't he? I mean, the closest player to him, Oscar, he won't really push into Secret. There's no reason for him to do so. However, the question is, will the other players be hunting for him, though? Looks like they're actually walking through Secret, I think that is. Potentially, or they're just walking outside. Either way, there is a lot of enemies close in the radar here.
Yeah, very close. 3 men right by him. If he does get detected, he should go down, but he can try and make the best of a bad situation. Gets 1 kill before Chris J will trade it. Although G2 started it off with a good round, and it seemed like, hey, maybe they can actually win the conversions here, get a fine footing found on their TT half, Ben. That's gone straight out the window. Mousesports, they fight back, and Mousesports are now in the driving seat to take a commanding lead here on their T side already.
The interesting bit is Nuke's quite good for the converting the round when you are on an eco, because you're able to stack whether it's the upper bomb site or potentially try and nade stack outside. It's a good map to cause anarchy towards the terrorist site. If they don't know what they're doing fully, it's very easy for things to just go out of the window. And that's a good start there. Kenny gets the evening kills Christie outside.
Yeah, big early Deagle frag coming through. Slows down the tempo. Mousesports not as aggressive towards outside this time. Keeping it a little bit further back. Obviously, they have the range advantage to play with this time around.
Ooh. Doesn't even get a second to actually think about shooting there, Kenny. Taking that straight off. And Sunny picks up the scout. He probably will get rid of that gun when needed, so he's the only player towards outside here. So hopefully he'll recover those guns. I think he did just throw that scout over the wall there. So very well played from him. Shox, he's got no armor in this position. He's going with double body shots and he gets all three of them. And even extra damage there too. This is winnable.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be in. Mousesports still unsure if they actually do want to commit and go down ramp at this point. Sunny going to rotate back around. Luckily enough, might actually get caught off here. I mean, Body's position could be pivotal to the round, but it just depends.
He's not looking the right way though.
No, he's not.
Sunny will be looking this way as soon as he decides to go around the corner. It's pretty much a free kill. Unless...
It depends so heavily on the timing, Ben. Sunny, he's not clearing the angle, but Snacks will find it anyway with the MP5, so Body does go down, and now they've got free reign to roam. They can just take the A site in seconds.
Yeah, it looks like they banked heavily on it being a lower play. Both Smiths and Existence were both down there. And honestly, I think you have to save here, right? There's nothing you can do. There's no kit. You can burst out the vents, but I don't know what you can get from that.
Yeah, most likely not worth it. They've got armor, they've got CZs. If you save them, it's at least something they can try and carry through into the next round. Mousesports did play it smart and get rid of the weapons that the fallen players had, so Existence can't salvage anything if he goes towards outside. Although
there was a gun at ramp though. So Smiths might actually be able to grab that, depending on what they did with it. They could have thrown it onto the boxes here, which if they did, they've done really well, but it doesn't look like they have. The UMP will be gathered. So you consider that Shox and Kenny didn't actually buy into that round, they just bought Deagles. Smith's picking that one up. But it means that they might be going for a double AWP in this first buy when they can, which I wouldn't be against it. I mean, Nuke, it's quite decent for the double. You can have an AWP player towards ramp, one outside, and then have the rifles fully rotating around the map, controlling the tempo. But it's interesting to see that they actually didn't commit fully to the force buy. I mean, it's quite a good map for it.
Just didn't fancy it on the call there, but we're back in round 4. Mousesports, they have picked up that previous round, but they took a lot of casualties for it, and it was risky. This time it looks like aggression could be the key as they set themselves up.
So again, they dropped that deal. Smith dropped the deal to Shox. Kenny has bought another one himself. And they are relying on those two to actually get the kills again. I mean, Shox is going to have some opponents coming into him at ramp. Oh, that nade. That's a really nice nade.
Yeah, just rolls down, strips him of 50 HP.
Shoulder.
Now he has now telegraphed his location, Ben, and they want to try and swarm and hit him. Bouncing around, but he's struggling to connect the shots, and they've detected him. He's on 13 HP. It's a matter of time before he falls. And in the meantime, everyone else is going down as well. It's only Existence that remains.
Near enough 0 damage dealt there. I mean, we've got to be wondering, what was the game plan? I mean, there was a player under Heaven that came over to help. Body was there too, but Shox, he committed to that angle. It was very weird. I thought you just drop to low and try and, you know, maybe try and cheese a kill out of someone, just get on a close angle, spam that deagle. But nothing's there. Looks like he thinks there is a player behind that box though. Or maybe not. Snack should get the drop on him if he checks out any second.
Ooh.
Just a matter of time really, isn't it?
Yeah, Snacks is going to find him. Oh, Snacks is going actually for the knife.
Surely not.
It looks like he wants it, Ben. He's hungry.
He's going to get it.
Yep. The backstab, the butcher play.
And Snack's now on basically $11,000 at the 5th round.
It's crazy. He's made so much money off that, and it's the confidence ball to just go for the knife play. Yeah. Paid off.
I suppose when there is 5 alive, you do think,
might as well.
Why not? Yeah. But some IGLs would not be very happy that you go for a knife kill full stop in big games such as this. Thinking back to that config knife, I believe, at the Major, if you remember.
Yeah.
That was in overtime as well, that was crazier. But there we go, Kenny gets his AWP, and Shox doesn't go for it one himself though. So this was actually going to be an upper execute from Mouse. You can see the second is going to from the roof, and they actually are going to go from Hut and Squeaky here.
Oh, it's such a close range angle. I don't know, Kenny S just, it's such a close range angle to play from the AWP. He had no protection from behind. They've just been able to walk out. The rifles are so much more mobile. They've completely ripped their way for everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if this is G2 save already.
I'm just confused. I mean, I can understand he was AWPing me. He thought, okay, they might be doing an upper execute. But surely there's another player on that site with him. Like, Chrissy shouldn't be able to jump out of Hut and get the kill on him without anybody shooting him.
Especially if Kenny's willing to play on that position.
Yeah.
You know you must have to have cover, but nothing there, Ben. It just looked a little bit confused.
But you must know that he's willing to play that, or he has at least communicated, I'm going to play inside the upper site. And then whoever's, you know, I guess it would have been Body in that situation, just doesn't even do anything on the site. Very confusing play. As you mentioned, they need to save all 3 guns here, and Chucks has actually been quite aggressive at this.
Ooh.
He got an AWP out of it. That's a surprisingly good save. I mean, Smith drops in CT spawn, but this AWP save, it means quite a bit. They might be able to buy into this one.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, they lost the AWP on Kenny, so being able to recover it as they push and get a bit aggressive is good. It's the only way they would have actually saved it. They did lose the other player, so Cash is going to be strapped, but if they play around Shocks, maybe they can find a little bit of an entry into this one.
Okay, so they don't force around it, but Shocks has kept that up. And it looks like he's doing the same sort of angle peek that Kenny was doing, and this is perfect for him. Line them up. Gets the first one, and Smith, he's on top of it. He needs to peek out and help. He does get it off.
Yeah, the CZ spam down not going well, as Rops is just able to overthrow each and every one of them. Snacks and Sunny as well for another fatal blow. Shocks still testing his might as he does peek out. Gets a big tag off.
He's tempted for this retake, isn't he?
He's trying it, Ben. He does take a little bit of damage, left on 64 HP. I mean, he has a kit. And they've slowed down the round. He's allowed to peek out. He can hear that bomb being planted, but he can't get an angle on the planter. No one else is there as well. They've actually fallen back. They go for the peek, but Sunny, he's faster.
That was really smart by Sunny, to be honest. He saw the player wasn't there. He had both his teammates actually wrapping behind him too. I'm just confused by where was Existence on that play. Like, you know, some teams, they do it where you save a gun, they'll then decide to let that gun anchor towards one area.
Yeah.
I prefer the idea of putting the rifle and then keeping all the pistols around him, just so he's got added support, right? But instead, I mean, I've got to assume that's a G2 tack, right? They're 5-1 down.
Yeah.
Things haven't looked great on the first buys that they had.
And Existence is not one for letting games get out of hand.
Yeah, he knows when to pause. He's probably one of the few IGLs who does pause as often as they should, really, when you consider how many you have.
I mean, if he has 4 pauses available to him, he will use all 4 if he feels like they're necessary. And it's probably a better mindset to have. Obviously, it's a slower pace of game, but for a team like G2, it can help them. Existence can instill so much more into those players when he has that extra time to try and hash it out.
Yeah, it's a very composed way of doing it. I mean, a lot of teams, like yesterday, for example, we probably only saw a pause, like, what, probably 3 times in that Overpass matchup. A couple of times on Train, if you remember, North did a pause in the second round after winning. It was quite a shocker. And otherwise, teams were not even using them.
Well, that's the thing. We spent the majority of the time on sort of the Hellraisers games. We're like, they're already 8 rounds down.
Yeah.
When is that pause going to finally come through?
And it wasn't going through. I mean, Mouse were able to just keep going. They were playing so aggressive. They kept on the same momentum and tempo, and they just carried on, just running it away with the whole game. I mean, this is a different style, though, I suppose. G2 used their pause, and hopefully something different comes out for them. Possibly a outside setup. So they're actually using 2 rifles outside here. So Existence gets all in the back of Garage, and this is quite a common setup you used to see in CSS as well. But Kenny, he's actually gone to a secret as up. So depending on the timing here, he might get a free kill as soon as he peeks up, because it looks like they're doing the outside smokes.
It could work well. It's a good read from G2, and they've set themselves up to deal with it, but Mousesports, will they commit to this outside take? Getting themselves ready now. Sunny going to prepare himself.
The classic situation, popping the skylights. As an A player, you kind of get a bit scared. As soon as you hear those getting popped, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it's become just a common thing that everybody just breaks them anyway, just to keep you on your feet, I suppose.
They're actually setting up quite heavily towards ramp, Ben.
Yeah, G2 put a lot of men towards this outside area, and it doesn't look like they're going to get any use out of it. Body, he's got to be in a position this round to actually get at least 2 kills. He hasn't got a kill yet this game. And it looks like there's a lot of players in lobby, but as you mentioned, ramp seems to be the focal point.
So they are backing over to Red Shocks. He's been tested a couple of times, misses the initial contact, but gets the first frag on Robs. Has to fall back here, but took the firefight. Wanted to try and get the initial 2 picks. Kenny S, though, a nice little pixel shot as he holds the close angle. Repositions, might shatter the glass, but can't shatter Mousesports' hopes and dreams into the round. They've secured the site, and they have been able to tag him as well. But the rotate from body actually could be very effective, Ben.
They've got all the angles covered right now, G2. Every single exit is covered by a player, but there's so many smokes, they have to wait for them to fade. They've only got 2 kits in play. Existence gets that kill on Sunny, though. This changes things for body.
Yeah, that is lovely. Grabs the AK as well, can now push back through. Chris J's already gone down as Smiths takes the firefight and wins it all on his lonesome. They can get that defuse quite happily. It was a good retake. Smartly played there by G2.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that Mouse. They have to use 1 smoke on the window side, 1 smoke on the doors there, and a smoke on decon. So that's all of the grenades pretty much being used instantly. So G2 knew, we've got kits, we can just wait it out. And they did pick up a second AWP there. So I mentioned that they were probably saving up for it in those eco runs after losing the pistol. But now Shocks, he's been willing to fight ramp every single round he's played there. It's a bit weird. Normally you see the player just drop instantly, you give it up.
Yeah.
Instead he's been playing that 1 kill and then dead angle essentially. It's a bit risky, it hasn't really worked out for him if I'm honest.
Very one and done. Well, they're actually switching up as well. Kenny going to rotate over, take ramp off his hands.
In fact, he's going lower. So the same thing that they did last round, other than not a player in garage. And that's a huge move right there. He just got down the vent instantly. So if a player were to try and vent dive, there was already a player down there. But Kenny, he's going to get a point of contact here. There's 2 players. This could be rough.
Seems like they expect it. Thinking that Kenny could be in position there towards Secrets. They still hold right now. No push coming through. They've got tons of time, though. It's only 1 minute and 20 on the clock, is it, to start to tick down. And Rops, he's trying once again to get that early contact towards ramp, but there is no Shocks there. Shocks is now dead.
He has to make a play. Kenny has to make a play. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the advantage. I mean, it's right-hand peek into a left-hand peek, and everything is going in Mouse's favour. It's just Existence left. He's got to be saving in this round. But unfortunately, he has to fight.
Yeah.
5 people stay alive for Mouse after losing a round, and they've all got plenty of cash. G2, on the other hand, not so much.
I mean, they hardly even took any damage into that round. It was so clean on the firefights they took. Chris J absolutely obliterated Kenny. It favoured him, and everything just went their way.
I think the awkward bit is they were expecting a player in secret because Shocks dived down the vent.
Yeah.
So they assumed there might be somebody down there. Rops heard it, he was like, okay, I can't go that way. And because of that, the Kenny probably dies due to that, which is such a... It's a by mistake play, but it's crazy to think that 1 small move changes the way that that round could have played out. And this time is fully committed to outside. Oscar taking a lot of damage there. I imagine through the smoke too.
Ooh, body.
That's a big kill.
Yeah, that was
Complete lobby
crisp
control
as well. Really nice flick as he takes down Rob. Smiths with the USP, not as effective on the pistol fragging capabilities, but luckily Existence going to come through until he gets his head lopped off, Ben. And it is back into the 3-on-3 with 1 minute and 15 on the clock.
It's a very winnable round. They've got the 1 AK in play and 2 deagles, so if you consider a deagle, all it takes is a half a shoulder peek just to get 1 kill, right? But it all depends on what Body does with his AK, in my opinion. And it doesn't help when Sunny gets another kill like that. If also the CTs, they need to make some kind of play, where it's through the map control, or by just peeking into things. And because of that, it's such an obvious thing that, you know, they're short-handed, they need to make the move, and Mouse know that. Body last live on Upper. He was last seen in lobby. They are coming towards him. That's a good start, though. 2v1. Could potentially still win this.
Oh, he's heard the footsteps as well. You can see him trying to counter that as he rotates back around, but Sunny still moving as he goes for the frag and does find it. Puts down Body and Mousesports. They've picked up 7 rounds now. Their T side is looking very effective here. And Existence going to go for that next pause, bring it out, realizes that things still haven't gotten better. They've not improved, Ben.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So just look at Pro League last season. They did match up on Nuke before. G2 won 16-4 in that situation. Obviously that was with Stiko from Mouse though, and NBK and Apex and G2. So you consider how one-sided that affair was. So now what we're looking at right here. It's complete polar opposites. And that was a matchup, I think Shocks had 29 kills. He did start strong this game, to be fair.
He's already looking good. I mean, 7-7, but it's still just one of those performances where, sure, one player can sort of pop up in that situation and sort of give him the extra edge, but right now the whole team's struggling. They've just been able to get through every nook and cranny, and really G2 haven't been able to keep them back. Yeah,
it's a very rough situation to be in, and Existence pulling out all the stops, as you mentioned, the pauses. For Shocks, he's going to be challenged again at ramp. He always fights it. He gets the 1 kill and done again. For Mouse, that situation, they're just thinking, great, he's always going to fight. If we get the trade, it's in our favour every time.
Well, he's taken that firefight literally every single time they pushed it.
Even with Deagles.
Yeah, he's been way too confident for his own good, and it's not a great situation to be in for him, Ben.
I suppose the only plus he had was that he did do some more damage towards Oscar. So it is, he's assisted his team there. It's 1.5 players worth of damage. But honestly, as the round just ticks by, G2 have given up outside here. So the longer this goes, the more time Mouse have to just think about what they want to do. It looks like they're committing to that lower bomb site. There is one player here though, I think in the window side there.
Push comes out, the double Molotov straight in.
It's forced into the fight.
Yeah, it's actually looking quite good though. I mean, they've left them in a 3v3. They still have control of the bomb site, and they can try and get that planted, but they realise the 2 players that are coming from behind the smoke, it will give them a little bit of a extra leeway. However, the spam doesn't help them out at all. Snacks couldn't connect the shots, but Smiths, in the meantime, will go down. Rops will overthrow, and it's left in the 3-on-2. Both of them coming from the same angle. Kenny on the AWP. Body just with the M4, they push through, he will get the first contact and kills the initial man, but Kenny, he has to play it so slow, he only has the AWP to work with, and Snacks gets a double kill to round that one out.
And you can see that the choice, he thought about keeping the AWP, and they were just like, no, we don't need it, we're winning with 5 rifles. Look at the money on Snacks, Sunny, Christian, and Robs. All of them 10k plus. That's how in control they are right now. G2 needs something major to change, and it doesn't look like tactical pauses are helping them in any way. I think the weird bit is, like, the pauses are great and everything, right? Using them, I'm all for that. But you need to be doing something out of the pause, right? Whether it's just a positional change or anything like that, you need to be doing something. It's just not good enough right now.
Ooh. And the early aggression from G2 doesn't work well at all. The only player that actually does find a frag for the CT side is Shocks, and he doubles down as he start to get a little bit aggressive. Push straight in, though, and the overconfidence will be his biggest downfall. Rops had the angle on lockdown. It's an easy headshot, and it all falls on Kenny S in existence. It is a 2-on-3, though, Ben.
Yeah, G2 have been in this position many times, and it does usually come crumbling down. And that's just the start of their last pro live existence, just as a P250. He could potentially use this as a good time to just talk about to his team and just start shouting at them, tell them to wake up, it's time to start playing. Because we're looking at 9-2, and Mouse are on the T side of Nuke. This is normally a CT-sided map.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, this will be the 9th round. There's no real way Existence brings this back. He does actually get an opening kill, though. But still, no armor, no utility, can't grab the gun. Does get the gun, however. They drop the molly on it to try and stop him from pushing through, but the bunny hop helped him out. He was quite speedy. He might just want to keep it and back off, though.
Yeah, definitely best bet right now. Kenny doesn't have a good buy. So if he is able to actually drop this AK to body, if body drops an AWP, that could be a decent way of doing it. Kenny drops a gun for Existence. Well, actually, no, Existence by himself, yeah. So body drop an AWP for Kenny, and then Existence buys himself. That would be one way of doing it. But the thing is, we've not seen much from the AWPs whenever they've had them. They had the double AWP at one point, didn't really do anything. Even when Kenny's had it, he actually hasn't had much done. Like, Shocks was the player that got the kills with the AWP when they had it.
They're going to allow him to save the AK, so at least it's one extra rifle brought through into the camper G2. About 5k across the board, so the reinvestment goes through. And we haven't really seen too much dominance from the AWP when it has been on Shocks or Kenny. Kenny will go for the reinvestment on it, though. It's actually the double AWP coming back out, Ben.
Yeah, we've seen it once already. Didn't really, succeed in any way.
It's not giving them the edge they need.
Yeah, it's a very easy thing to think, let's get 2 AWPs. But a lot of people just say that because it's something different. They don't have a real thought plan behind it. They just say, we'll do that because it's something else. Try it, see if it works out. I mean, Shocks gets that first kill, and this is probably the first time at ramp where he's got the kill and not been killed within 3 seconds.
Ooh, and that's beautiful as well. Actually goes for the face, the timing's correct. Oscar peeks into it, gives him a headshot. And G2, I don't think we've seen them get 2 picks as the opening frags in a round for a very long time.
Probably since the pistol, if I'm honest. And this time the AWPs are finally doing something. There's 3 kills to the AWPs this round already. It's 2v4, and Christian lurking out of this site. It might just be a case of timing here. Body is that lone player on the site. Ooh, does get the drop there. And Snacks, he's had a good game so far. 13 and 3. He's already got 1 kill this round. This is definitely possible.
Well, going to You try and make a mountain out of an anthill here. Gets the first contact, but misses the initial shot. He does try and land it onto the player jump spotting. We go through the vent, does hear the vent dive, but he backs back up, walking up there. Snack's going to be kept on his toes. If he goes through, the angle's being held. He knows this, but it's his only opportunity. Tries to walk in. Body had it on lockdown, and that is finally another round for G2 as it brings them up to 3.
And the good thing is they stayed alive with both the ops that they bought, right? If Snacks were able to do some damage to the money there, it could have been diabolical for them. Even though they won the round, it could have been really, really bad. But thankfully, they keep both orbs, and they finally did something, right? Shox got 2 kills at ramp, Kenny got another one outside. It was a lot better. The question is, can they do the same? I mean, Shox was so aggressive at ramp, he took the fights again. Will he be able to do anything like that this time? So Rops has been doing this all game so far. He's been terrorizing this squeaky sort of area. Essentially forcing Smiths to have a bit of a lesser role on the map. Very awkward situation. And another one right here close to her. Both the upper players have had a rough time so far. Smiths and Body. Arguably 2 of the players who've been criticised most recently as well. Like,
yeah.
You know, everybody thinking some kind of replacement needs to come in. Whether it's, you know, Scream or your Kiyoshima get put in.
So it's sort of been up in the air with the French shuffle in terms of who was ever really going to find their footing. I mean, both teams didn't look amazing once they got formed, and now finally it seems like they've got a little bit more cohesion together. But where does it go from here? Round 13, Mousesports, they've looked pretty damn dominant throughout the entire matchup, but Body kicks it off this time around. Finds the kill on Chris J. Robson only survives with 1 HP, and Body is still allowed to massacre him. Kenny S will connect the shot with the AWP as he snipes down on the first man. It all falls to Snacks, but he can't gobble him up. He will be killed and is starved out in the round. That is a 4th now for G2. Trying to bring it back, Ben. Praying for that 9-6 at the half.
And there we go, Body. I was saying that they've had a rough time with upper. He finally gets 3 kills there. Huge frags to find. And as you mentioned, only the 4th round on the board for them, though. They do need that 9-6, and then if they win the pistol, it's all up in the air who can win this one. They're actually committing both AWPs towards outside that. He's tagged him straight through the cube. So Smiths has been doing that spam every round whenever Rops done that smoke. I'm surprised he's actually run into it.
And this has gone very well, Ben. I mean, Snacks got tagged early. We then saw a follow-up pick towards outside. Oscar takes a firefight that he is not going to win versus Body there from that angle. And now there's only 2 Ts left.
So this is actually started, you know, this half is started crumbling quite quickly for Mouse. I mean, they are leading, so that's perfectly fine. But, you know, you consider how easily they've taken some of those early rounds. This has looked much worse from them. They do still have a chance here, though. Chris J with that AWP. Snacks, a player who's been playing very well so far this game. Question is, will they be able to find any more picks? So it's just Smith, and he's playing inside the upper site as well, fully on the hurt.
Well, they're going to set their gaze over towards ramp. Existence is the player this time around. There's no Shoxy in Existence. Tries to lead by example. Gets the first pick, but Chris J adjusts. Gets the kill. Smiths will trade it as he goes in with the backstab. G2 get a 5th round, and they are now very close to making it a 9-6. This is going to be the final round of the first half, and it's an important one for them as well. If you make it a 9-6, you can win that pistol, you can reset it. It's a level playing field, and this is probably going to be one of their pauses once again as well. Try and talk about that final round. If it is, that'll be the 3rd pause used from G2 so far.
I imagine it's on the Mouse side, if I'm honest. Based on, you know, the fact that they had that huge bank building up, this is the first round they've actually been started question marking. Like, the buy's a bit rough here. Can we talk about this one? So you can see everybody's, you know, they're distributing the AKs right there. And everyone will be able to get all grenades pretty much. Snack's the only player missing out there. He'll only have 1 flash missing. The question is, what do they want to do out of this? I mean, they can't do the fast upper rush due to how Smith is actually playing that squeaky side, and he's had support from main, whether it's through Shox or Kenny. They've always been AWPing that side. And Shox actually got rid of his AWP there. He's gone for a rifle now. So Mouse trying to catch Mouse off there. That's an interesting one. It's one way of doing it, I suppose. You know, they might expect the second AWP to be there, and he actually picks it back up again. Is he taking both of them?
Yeah, he's bringing both with him. He's carrying both of the guns over.
I mean, I do like that when people do that, because it is worth doing it. But how is he already there?
Rops is so speedy. It's like a speed demon, Ben.
And this round's going very, very poorly for G2. Shock scores one back. He gets another one as well. It's 3v2 though, and Kenny, unfortunately, has been pushed outside. And Rop's Speed Demon is under heaven right there.
Yeah, just able to rip his way through everyone in front of him right now. He's rapid. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. It's down to exist now, and a 1-on-3 to try and save the day. If he wants that 6th round, he's going to have to lead majorly by example and really fight for it. Gets the initial headshot. Doesn't lose that much health. He's still on 46 HP. It's a position where he could win the round, but Rops is always so strong in these clutch scenarios. Full of confidence. He's got the AK. Sunny as well, there to support him. Only on 12 HP, though. Existence goes for the sideline peek. Slowly encroaches around, but they're just playing ring around the rosies. A tissue, and Existence falls down.
Yeah, huge triple kill there from Robs. I think he's, for that situation, I think he's gone straight onto the silo, and he's, you know, that there's a little outlet bit on the side of main, like a curved edge. I think he surfed across it to get that speedy turn.
It was quick.
Smith was caught out completely. I mean, you don't expect a player to be there that fast.
No, I mean, not that quick into the round. It was absolutely wild. That's one to watch back on the demo.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I saw somebody do it. I think it was on Pistol when they were doing it. They were trying to do that fast A split.
Yeah.
And there was a player that surfed around it. It was Rops, actually, funnily enough. Remember, he lost that fight. It was a bit of an awkward one with the P50.
Yeah, because he went for the first contact and missed the early opening.
He surfed across that to get that speedy little push.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Using the full mechanics available to him, I suppose. That's one way to look at it.
He has always been a very good mechanical player.
Yeah,
that's something that set him apart, obviously, back from the FPL days.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the... I suppose the new gen, I guess, of players, you know, they only know this game, right? So you don't think of like the previous versions of Movement, for example, CSS or 1.6.
You're not caught up thinking about the days that could have been.
Yeah, you just know this game. This is all you know, and obviously he knows his way around the silo jump as well as running fast towards main there. So despite that second half looking, or the first half rather, looking a bit, you know, dodgy for Mouse towards the end, they get that last round, and in terms of momentum, they're in a good position. If they win the pistol, they can take it quite quickly.
It's a good spot to be in. 10-5 at the half, as we'll be jumping back in with the action and carrying on now. G2, this pistol round is so important for them. Existence, normally very thought out on his pistol rounds. Let's see what he's been cooking up into this one.
Does look like a lot of players inside lobby right now. I think Smiths might be the one on the actual roof there as well. He's got a HE, flash, and a smoke. So I suppose all eyes will be on him regarding the grenade usage. And you can see there, he's lining up grenades towards upper on the roof. Grenade comes through, doesn't do anything. That looks like it was a set grenade to land on the rafters. Oscar was tempting fate a bit there, wasn't he?
He was trying his luck. Oscar's been very aggressive into this game. It's been paying off in a lot of the rounds. Existence, bunny hops his way around.
The checkers.
Oh, they've got through ramp. But Rops, he's got the read on him, Ben. Gets the first kill from behind. Snacks is going to be prepared as well as the kills all start to come through. This is an absolute world of pain that has just been unleashed upon them. It's only Smiths that remains, and he is going to be hitting the snooze button as he slides down, put to bed.
So let's actually talk about what they did in that pistol. So Smiths, from silo, he smoked heaven. And that was the quick rush. They were not visible from the A site when they went up the ladder. It was, but unfortunately for them, Snacks was on the other side of it, and he was able to get the 3 kills, and the other player supported him. Quite a unique pistol.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, but I probably imagine that it does have a high success rate in their practice games as well, because otherwise they would not use it.
It's definitely something that would catch you off guard.
For sure. I mean, you don't expect all 5 players, or 4 players rather, to bound across ramp, not thinking of you at the back of it, and go straight under heaven all the way up. It's quite a crazy one. Kenny S has invested fully into the grenade. Same for Shocks here as well. No armor on each of them. You gotta be thinking this is an upper play, right? With pistols, armor on some players, that's your easiest contention spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shocks is setting up right now. It looks like he's got the molly for the skylight and then a double flash through as well. So they're all ready to try and go for these nades over through skylight and then bound out into the site. And here comes that push. They're straight out. Oscar with the MP5 looks to hold them back. Does get just run into there. Just absolutely taken out by Kenny S as he sprints into his face. More damage to be done, and the CTs are looking good in the defense, however. They're holding him back. Kenny S grabs a weapon, but can't really get a shot off with it. But they are in a 2-on-2. It's a winnable round, depending on how they opt to play this one. But it's against the rifles, and the elevated angle is so much easier to play from. Rops saves the day once more. as the Superman he is, glides into action, defuses the bomb, and it is going to go 12-5. And G2 are pumping all their money into these rounds as well, so it's a costly loss for them again.
Very strong last 3 rounds, I suppose, Rops, right? He had a 3K to end the half. He got 2 on the pistol, another 3 right there.
Well, he's just soared himself straight to the top of the scoreboard, just off the back of the big plays he's been delivering.
I could tell an interesting story about the first time I ever saw Rops. I was playing an FPLC game, funny enough, and that was the game where I was against Hudgy. I got 4 kills in the pistol. They paused it and said, question mark, who's this guy?
Yeah.
But then Rops was on my team. He got 50 kills in that game. And it was a double overtime. And I was like, who's this guy?
I remember this. I remember that
It was
story.
so weird. And then a few months later, I played him on Mousesports on a Nuke game, funnily enough. He wasn't as great, though, if I'm honest.
But Rops, it was a magical story for him, really.
Yeah. The first instance of a player successfully transitioning from like a pug star into a team, right?
Yeah.
Because you think of like your Rokers in NA, right? There's plenty of those occurring. I suppose Stewie's another good example of that. But Roker's that, you know, pug star who has so many highlight reels of him just jumping around, destroying people, but then transitioning into a team.
Just
not
couldn't
going
quite
well.
get it together.
Yeah.
Whereas Rops, I mean, he sort of moulded into the team very quickly and hasn't ever looked back, really. It's been a great career for him so far, and still such a young player. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, you got to think so, right? Just unfortunately, with the sample size in terms of games, we don't actually know whether, you know, a player's hit his peak. Right?
Yeah.
It's such a weird one because you think esports stuff is not the same, is it? There's no physical side to it. Like, you know,
Age is just a number, really. It doesn't affect it.
Like reaction time doesn't go down until about 32 at least, I think it is. And in terms of looking at it like this, there's no clear line. Like, is a player entering his peak? I think most are committed fully to lower. There's one player on the vent wall there, and another instance just being ran into.
Yeah.
This is winnable though. 20 seconds, but they're committing towards lower instead. This might be the right call based on how many players are looking upper. But shocked, he's left in a 1v3. Smith was committing to that upper player. It's a bit odd.
Shocks. He was always a superstar in clutch rounds, but it doesn't seem like he's ready for this push, Ben. Didn't expect it. Chris J far too fast there as he comes out through ramp and gets the initial pick. That is the final killing blow, and a 13th round has been secured. And at this point, G2, it just looks like they're struggling to get it together. I mean, the bomb plant is good at least. It will help them bring that economy back up. It's going to be such a hard-fought fight from this point onwards, though. I mean, G2 have just been struggling against Mousesports here. Nuke's been such a great map for them into this one.
Yeah, and that plan, it does keep them in an okay spot. I mean, I was thinking they were going to save one more, but they're actually committing to the buy. It's going to be such a weak one, though. I mean, they're forcing the issue here. Like, they could have waited to get a better buyout, but it looks like they don't want to even try and consider Mouse being on 14 rounds already. They want to take it right now.
And this is vintage Oscar.
He's not in a great game, either. Look at him, 7-15. Consider, you know, the first half he didn't really get the AWP, did he?
Especially if we take into account recent form, he's been looking pretty good, but Oscar finds the headshot over onto Smiths, but the rest of his teammates are all being decimated. It is an advantage for G2, but that quickly goes out of the window as the FBI comes back through and slaps him out of the server. It is only Existence that remains in a 1-on-2. He wasn't ready for it. Existence walks into the crosshair of Chris J and is punished. 15 rounds is one away for Mousesports. All they need to do is pick up this next round, and the stars have aligned. I mean, there's nothing there for G2 to play with. The Arsenal's going to be weak. They can't invest. They're going to have at the very least an overtime guarantee, and that'll probably be that third G2 pause now.
Yeah, the thing is, there's not much to talk about, is there? So you're going to get 3,400 for this round if they lose, if they do lose, right? But that's probably why they're talking about it, right? You can spend about 1,500 per player here. So that's like a CZ, Kevlar, a smoke, maybe, something like that. So the best thing, do we have any sort of execute that we can do? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that pistol come out again, because that was actually quite interesting. I mean, if you get the full transition there with CZs going up that ladder, that could be chaos. You know, as an upper player, you're probably not thinking they're going to come up that ladder. But Oscar, I mean, we haven't had to really think about his score being as bad as it is, like 8-16. They didn't use an AWP on T-side, did they?
It didn't really matter. When he had the rifle on T-side, he got a couple of sort of impact frag picks that actually did help them out. So even though he's had a quiet game, it doesn't really reflect that in the stats. You know, he's been all right in terms of the early entries he got T-side, and now he doesn't need to do much. The rest of his team has just been decimated. I mean, Rops, for one, has pretty much taken the entire team for a bit of a free ride.
So Jisoo not quite thinking of that overtime potential. They're just fully into this round other than Kenny, who's not actually spent his 1300. For whatever reason, he still can't get an AWP next round if they lose, so I don't really understand that. But they did do that same outside smoke because they've got secret control. And the question is, what are they actually going to do from that? I mean, Oscar, he's ready for anybody's coming down A main here. And that's a lot of noise.
In this situation. Gets the first, nearly the second, but the distance didn't help him there. The Blue Spruce not going to punish today, but Sunny will get the headshot connection back on Kenny S. And they actually have the advantage, but they lose it. Sunny goes down. It's a 3-on-3. The site control's been taken. Existence and Co are going to try and defend it. But there is no utility left for the side of G2, apart from one measly flash on Smiths. Whereas for Mousesports, they're armed to the teeth, but when they push in, they find the frags as well. And it all falls onto Smiths now. The last man in the clutch. And see if he can try and save the day. Door opens to toy with him. There's another player by main as well, so they know his location. It's just a matter of time until they push through, and Snacks will get the kill on his lonesome as well. And that'll bring it up to a 15 to 5 scoreline. 1 round is all that Mousesports require, and G2 are pretty broken. I mean, at least they were able to get the bomb down, so it works out with the rest of the cash they can reinvest, but it's still not going to be that amazing. They're going to be restricting a little bit of utility going into this one.
It's all well and good getting the bomb down, right? But at some point you have to win the post plants. They've got the bomb down in, what, 3 of the 5 rounds that they played so far on T-side? And they've been winnable positions, like sometimes 3v3, 4v3 in their favour sometimes. They have to win one of them, right? Kenny, thankfully, because that plant, he can get an ult.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he was not, I mean, he didn't get a kill. The question is, what are they going to do from this? I imagine they're accepting this round. No. This game is probably over at this point. Oscar, he's had a kill every time he's bought that.
He loves it. It's literally vintage Oscar. For some reason on Nuke, he's been more than happy to constantly just go for the early hut push or just hold towards main and get those frags with the XM10, and people just don't expect it.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, right? I mean, he's got another teammate who does that. Snacks used to do that with VP. He used to just go into the vent, where he'd dive down the vent with a sawn off and just sit there waiting for a rotate.
Big man shotgun Snacks.
Yeah, and that's not another addition like there. Christian gets taken out, and it's just not been their game by looks things, has it? It's a lot of peaks not going their way. No,
and talking of Snacks, he not only found a frag, but did more than enough damage to make Smiths quite supple so that he could be crunched down on. And it is just Shocks that remains now. The last Frenchman left to try and save the day. It's a 1-on-2 to keep G2 alive, and it looks like it will be a 16-5 scoreline. Chris J connects the shot with the AWP, and that wraps it up. It's done and dusted. Mousesports pick up the first map. Very commandingly, I'd have to say. I mean, they look pretty much in charge for the majority of that game there.
A complete contrast to the previous time they met on Nuke, right? And I think it just shows the comparison in form between these teams. Mouse just won New York. G2, clear struggle in the camp right now. No clear performance from any players. I mean, Shocks, he was doing okay, I guess, but you know, there was nobody else to back him. Body, he was here and there. Every now and then he'd get a few kills. Kenny, I mentioned he needs to have a better game. He got 2 kills on the pistol, and then he got 6 for the rest of the game. It's just not good enough.
It really isn't, and there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders as well. With Ocelot obviously trying to get the squad to do more and saying that he's not happy with results, you wonder at what point does that start to affect the players, and it seems like internally there could be a bit of a struggle right now. Not looking too fantastic there on Nuke. Luckily there is another map to come. Maybe they can step it up there and bring it back in their favour, because they need some points, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it's a poor start to the season, right, by any means. Nuke, probably one of the maps that they'd like to think they're pretty good at.
Yeah.
And they won the pistol, and it went all downhill from there, and it's not a good situation to be in, especially, you know, Existence. He'll probably be quite harsh on the team with that as well, because you've got to be converting those rounds. Convert that to 3-0, you're already looking at a good spot. Yeah.
You've got to win those, and G2 need to win the next map. They struggled here in their opening game. Can they get some more going for them? There's a second map to come between Mousesports. For the meantime, we'll leave you with the highlights, and we'll see you after the break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.